G'day everyone and welcome to a massive round one preview show of Tuesday Night Live. So much to do, so much to talk about. We've got Reilly O'Brien talking with us tonight. We've got giveaways, we've got preview of the big match, and I can't really be bothered talking about it anymore. Let's just get straight into it, shall we? Well. How are we going, everyone? Great to have you all. Ooh. What's going on there? Let's just turn that off, shall we? There's Riley's just starting to interrupt us. Oh, Peter, it wouldn't be a Tuesday Night Live without a little glitch, would it?
It's me.
How'd you be, mate? All right?
Yeah, really well, thanks. Yourself?
Oh, not too bad, except I'm in isolation again. Just another family member has COVID, my younger son. He's dodged too, and he's now... yeah. So another week for me in lockdown, loving life.
Hopefully it doesn't come your way.
Well, I'm 9 weeks from when I had it, basically. So I'm not sure where that puts me. I think it puts me in reasonable shape. 8 weeks and I wouldn't have even had to have ISO'd, but nevertheless.
All the best for it, mate.
Yeah, not too sure where that leads me. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We soldier on. And your family are right, are they?
Yeah, everyone very, very well, and I was very fortunate on the weekend to get up to the top end and spend a beautiful long weekend up in Darwin, and one of my favourite spots. So feel very, very refreshed. Other than about a dozen midgie bites, but other than that, that's just being in the tropics. And absolutely beautiful up there, and very happy to be back, and just about ready to kick off the season. It's unbelievable that it's got round so quick.
Yeah, and look, thanks to everyone who's joined us on Discord and on YouTube. Of course, we stream live to both platforms. If you want to get on the chat tonight and have your say, get on the live studio in Discord, or get on the chat on YouTube. Plenty there, ready to have a say, Peter. Also, a couple of things to announce. First of all, Razor has set up a tipping competition for the CrowCast. The links are in the new, what did I call that? Fantasy and Tipping channel in Discord. And I'll also drop them in the description on YouTube. 1990 was good enough to set up a fantasy league for us on AFL Fantasy. The details are also in that channel. But the big one, Pete, the big one is this year on Tuesday Night Live, every home match, we're giving away 2 general admission tickets.
That's pretty bloody good.
2 general admission tickets. So the way we're setting it up, again, you need to be on Discord to participate in this. But just above just below the live show chat, you'll see a channel called Ticket Giveaway. If you go into the ticket giveaway and put a ta-da emoji against that little card, at the moment no one's entered, right? Jeez. You just need no one's entered, and I can't go because I'm in bloody lockdown, so someone's going to have to take these 2 GA tickets. So get into the ticket giveaway channel, put an emoji next to the card. You'll already see one there, so just follow your nose on that one. and we've got it set up tonight that it's just going to be a random winner. So you've got to put an emoji in that next to that card in the channel there in Ticket Giveaway, and once you've done that, you're in the draw. So, and that's going to happen in various forms every home match this year, mate. We've got 2 doubles to give away every home match this year. First time we've done that on the Crows, so on the CrowCast, so really happy about it.
No, that's a ripper. Good stuff.
And I have to say thank you to someone for that, but I'm not allowed to say who, so so thank you to that person. And apologies on YouTube, I think my video is a little bit out. My webcam for some reason is it's lagging tonight, which is really driving me crazy. So yeah, apologies for that. Anyway, without further ado, Pete, I think what we should do first up is get into the Reilly O'Brien interview. I spoke with Reilly on Monday morning, and he was good enough to give us 15 or 20 minutes of his time, which was really good of him to do. And so I think without any further ado, why don't we just have a listen to Reilly O'Brien, shall we?
Sounds good, mate.
So I'm just going to interrupt there because apparently YouTube's not hearing that. So I'm going to do this a different way. Just bear with me a second. Pete, you can keep talking if you like.
Here we go. Just a bit of thank you music. It was good news to hear today that Jordan Dawson looks like he's been working with the main group and hopefully he's beat that calf injury. That's really probably the most critical bit of news that came out of this
everyone,
week.
And welcome to a special interview with... Yeah, I agree, because talking with Reilly, it didn't actually sound too good for Reilly, for Geordie. It sounded a bit touch and go, but anyway, I'll do it this way. So let's just see if this one works. G'day everyone, and welcome to a special interview we've got this morning with Crow's number 1 ruckman and favourite around the club, Reilly O'Brien. How you going, Reilly?
Yeah, good, Rob. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, lovely to have you, mate. And you told me beforehand that bright and early up for another training run. What's on this morning at the club?
Yeah, we're back into it this week. We've had a few days off for a long weekend, sort of 3 days coming into the season, and now back into the in-season schedule, getting ready for round 1 today. So we've got a little training session today, a bit of gym, and get back into it. So start preparing for a really big week.
Yeah. Do you have any set schedule about scouting the opposition, or do you run through tapes, or is that just sort of something that's left to yourself, like you'll be going up against your opposing ruckman? Do you sort of watch the tapes and all that sort of stuff this week?
Yeah, the week's pretty structured around that. We start normally early in the week. We'd obviously be reviewing our game from the weekend. So Monday, Tuesday, we'd be having a lot of meetings, reviewing the game just gone, and then from Wednesday's our sort of main training day, and we'd have a meeting in the morning as a team, looking forward to that, and then we'd be able to train that day, and then do a lot more on the Friday in our lines and a bit more specific. And in that time, we'll do a lot of individual stuff. So yeah, I'll do a lot with my opposing ruckman, with Doc Clark, the ruck coach, and watch a lot of clips and just establish a pretty clear plan going in. And yeah, we do a fair bit of oppo analysis, and yeah, that throughout the week. But yeah, it's pretty important going into a game.
So who do you expect to come up against this week against Freo? Just quietly, because obviously they've had a changing of the guard with their ruck situation. Yeah,
Sean Darcy will be in there, so he's pretty handy player, so he'll be a good challenge first up, and looking forward to that. He was obviously in the All-Australian squad last year, so he's had a really good year, and it's great to come up against the best straight away and really put into practice what I've been training and working on all pre-season. So yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I bet. Now, we've had a bit of a injury, or not an injury interrupted, but a COVID interrupted pre-season. We struggled to get blokes on the park for some of the community series and certainly some of the SANFL trial games. How's the club shaping up in terms of personnel leading up to round one?
Yeah, it was obviously a bit of an annoyance to have a few guys go down before those games, but it could be a bit of a silver lining coming into the season, because I guess guys won't be going down in season, so we're sort of safe from that perspective. But yeah, in terms of coming into round one, we're not far off full strength. Obviously, Rory Laird going down with his hand with a bit of a blow.
Yeah.
Geordie Dawson's right around the mark with his calf, so he's back in the main group, and hopefully he's good to go Sunday, because he'll be a huge boost.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then obviously we're pretty much full strength, apart from missing Paul Season still, and missing Tex for the first few games. So that'll be missed, but we've got plenty of blokes that are training really well and coming up, and we'll fill their spots. Yeah.
So, I mean, you started on when you made your debut in 2016, so you've seen some highs and lows with the club, but it certainly must be an exciting time at the moment, going through the quote-unquote rebuild and seeing so many new faces come through the club. Has it been something that you've been able to take a leadership role in as you develop a new midfield group?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I came into the club to a pretty established group and team. I got there in end of 2014, and the team didn't really change much for the next 4 or 5 years, and like an old guard sort of there, and it was a great group and had a lot of success. But yeah, from I guess 2020 onwards, there's been a bit of a reset, and it's been really exciting to be a part of that, and sort of starting from scratch with a completely new group, and see the growth in a lot of young guys is super exciting. And I think we're starting to build something really special, albeit it does take a little bit of time, but I think we'll take huge strides this year. And it's been awesome to, I guess, in my stage of my career, getting a little bit more experienced, being able to, I guess, help younger guys and take more of a leadership role, and really drive the culture and the behaviours and standards, and ultimately a winning culture that we want to establish here.
Yeah. Yeah, and just on your start to your career, there was a period of time there where Sauce Jacobs, I swear he would have come out on crutches or a wheelchair or something like that. He tended to play with a lot. Did that used to frustrate you a little bit, like knowing that you were fit and ready to go, and Sauce was kind of labouring at times? Did you ever feel like maybe putting a banana peel in front of him or something just to get a run?
Yeah, we did have I remember when I was playing with 2, he did have the record for the most consecutive games in the league, or something about 100 and something, and it was getting ridiculous. He's so durable and able to just bounce back every week and play really good footy. So, it certainly got frustrating at times, but it's the nature of the position. The ruck was only one spot, and I was trying to bang the door down as much as I could, but there wasn't much I could do. And then Pikey was, he was a great coach, and I loved him, but he was very, I guess, conservative in his selection as well. So he sort of stuck with what he knew, and that obviously achieved great things. So it was a frustrating period for a few years there, but I think it, in the long run, made me hungrier and made me a better player.
Yeah, good things come to those who wait, mate. And Source is back around the club now. You mentioned Doc Clark earlier as your main ruck coach. Does Source have any input at all into your rucking or your general play?
No, not at the moment. He's all upstairs with the community team. So I don't really see him much around the club, especially with all the COVID restrictions. So maybe I'll have to get him down at some stage to give me some advice. But no,
You're probably sick of seeing him. So I might see him around and get him down for a session if Doc's away. Yeah. So you mentioned, of course, changing of the guard, a new group and all the rest of it. What have you noticed has been the main differences in the coaching styles between Don and Matty Nix?
Good question. Nix, he's very people focused, very people and culture focused, I suppose, and that's been great for our group. So it's been a really good vibe here, and we talk about prioritising others and looking after each other, and the footy sort of flowing off that. And it's a really enjoyable place to come in. It was the same with Pikey. He wasn't as much emphasis on it, but he was probably more, probably a bit more technical in his coaching and the way we played. But he was great. I found him a really, really good coach, and slightly different styles in that regard.
Yeah. It feels from the outside like the club has placed a huge significance on culture shift. We've got Daniel Jackson in there, who I'm sure you've had some dealings with, and every player that I've spoken to over the last 12 months has spoken about, the great culture and certainly working for your mates and for your teammates, etc. Do you think that's probably been the biggest change in the club from a playing point of view, from the recent personnel changes?
Yeah, definitely. There's been a huge emphasis on that, and Dan Jackson's been awesome for the club, and I get along with him really well, and he's helped me a lot personally. But as a group, he just drives along with Nixie and the rest of the coaching staff. Yeah, really people-focused culture, and a place where you really want to be, and you love building trust and connection between the players, and that ultimately will play out in the field in years to come. Build that really strong culture first, and then you can, on top of that, obviously working on the football side of things. But without that culture, it's hard to become a really great team and really gel and have a successful, I guess, long-term approach. You look at Richmond, you look at other teams that have, the basis of their success has been a really strong culture and a really strong connection between the playing group and the coaches.
It seems that way, doesn't it? We saw Melbourne last year come through, and again, looking from the outside, their culture seems really tight, and they've been able to rebuild that culture after years in the doldrums, and I guess it's a key plank these days, isn't it? And I guess from that perspective, the leadership group, is it function the same as it has in the past, or is there more sort of communication amongst the various levels of players, if you like, between the senior players and the juniors or the ones coming through?
Yeah, definitely. We're sort of, I think a lot of clubs have, and including us, have moved away from just a hierarchical system where it's sort of coaches and leaders at the top telling everyone else what to do. It's sort of more involved with everyone getting input. So we'll have leadership group meetings, and every time we'll have a few different players come in every week and give their thoughts on different issues and different things around the club. It's a really player-driven, inclusive approach, and everyone's sort of committed and buying in, rather than just the guys at the top telling you what to do and telling you how to behave. It's when everyone buys in and is responsible and driving the culture. That's when you get the good results and the really strong the really strong culture from top to bottom.
Yeah, we interviewed Ned and Harry Schomburg last year, and both of those lads and also Jackson was saying how they wanted to make an immediate impact on the club and drive the change. Have you found that the young blokes coming in, I mean, I'm sure Ned never shuts up, but have you found the young blokes coming in have really put themselves forward rather than just sitting in the corner of the change rooms?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's been a huge shift I've noticed in my time in footy. I think the young guys, culturally young people coming through now are a lot more confident and I guess willing to speak up, whereas back in probably 10 years ago it was more guys at the top sort of were the ones speaking and had to say, and I guess you're expected as a young guy just to bite your tongue and not contribute. But now it's sort of, we really encourage those guys to come in, be on the front foot, give us their views, give us feedback if we do something wrong on the field or off the field, to really embrace them giving us feedback and trying to make us better. So yeah, it's gone to the days where it's hierarchical and it's just shut up and sit in the corner if you're a young bloke. We definitely encourage that and encourage really good buy-in from everyone across the board.
Yeah. So the first couple of years of Nixie's tenure and with a fresh group, etc., the game plan was reasonably simple. Looking from the outside, it was very much about contested ball and winning, 50-50 contests. Do you think that the group is starting to mature now, that we can develop a bit more of an outside game this year and put a couple of different things in place?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with a young group, we had a rough year in 2020. We probably went back to basics and just winning contests and played pretty simple footy offensively. But yeah, with a bit more experience, a bit more talent coming in, able to definitely add a few more strings to our bow offensively and really get some exciting footy going for sure. And there's really good. Nixie's great coach. He's got great coaches around him. Added in last year with Scotty Burns and Jimmy Reilly and Nathan Mabello, and they've been awesome. So really confident in the coaching group, and so it should be good.
It sounds like there's a lot of buy-in from the group about what the coaches are putting together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think, and it's not just them telling us what to do either. So it's players contributing. It's a dynamic sort of approach, and that's when you get the buy-in and you get the trust and ultimately get a game plan that is working, and looking forward to putting into practice this week and for the rest of the year.
And I guess a bit of personnel as well doesn't hurt, and you've got Geordie Dawson coming this year and probably Junior coming back from a long break out of footy. Does that just lift the boys again, that we've got a bit of outside run and we've just added to that talent pool, I guess, with Geordie, and good to get Wayne back?
Yeah, they're probably two of the best kicks in our team. So, and great outside running players. So they'll definitely provide a lot of spark offensively and really open up the game for us. So they'll be huge additions. And then it'd be great to have Matty Crouch back as well. He's sort of a new player almost as well, so he'll be awesome to have inside, and a great decision maker and great ball user as well.
So having Matty back, just watching it last week, having Matty back really changes the composition of the midfield, doesn't it? Kind of frees up a couple of blokes to play a bit more in-out rather than playing that inside role. And Leader going down, of course, we lose one from the coalface for a couple of games. But of the young lads, Harry Schomburg's always been the one that's excited me. Who else do you see, or you can talk about Harry, or who are those young blokes coming through, him and Sam maybe coming through into that midfield group?
Yeah, Shelly's super exciting. He's got great ability inside and outside, and he's got that burst of speed and ball use coming out of that midfield, which can really set him apart. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he'll be a very, very good player for many years to come. And then he said Sam Berry. Sam Berry's, he's going to be a great player too. He's just so hard inside and puts his head, in the hole and tackles non-stop. So he's going to be a great inside player. Then guys, one we probably haven't seen a lot of is Luke Pedler, who's going to be very exciting when he gets his body fully firing. He's when he's up and going, he's got that incredible burst out of stoppage and is very, very tough around the ball. And then his ability to burst away from contests is his X factor. He's got a lot of speed, so he's another one to watch in the years to come. But so hopefully he gets a crack at it early in the year and can show us what he can do.
Yeah. And you mentioned Luke getting his body right. We've got Burjo in this year for the next few years. Have the blokes seen a bit of a change in the fitness program?
Burjo's been good. He's, I guess we had a really good off season and he had a good program set up for us. And I guess as a group, we got really, really fit. And we're able to basically do footy drills and match play the whole pre-season from basically December. So we're super match fit and done a lot of work, relevant work over the pre-season in terms of improving our game style and practice of that. So Burjo's been awesome.
Fantastic
so far, and a lot of guys are in really good shape, injury wise and stuff. Everyone's feeling really fit and firing. So it's up well for a good year.
And your own spot, mate. You've got the journeyman Kieran Strawn sitting one back and off the rails, and you've also got the young buck in Reilly O'Brien, who's been playing forward but can also get thrown into the ruck, and even Elliot and Billy can have a crack. Does that give the club some flexibility in terms of how we set up going forward, not only with the ruck spot but with your own ability to push forward at times and rotate around a bit?
Yeah, definitely. Having those guys up forward, Reilly and Elliot, are more than capable of playing fair chunks in the ruck. So, definitely something I've been working on, trying to get forward, and especially in the ruck, sprint getting really hard forward, taking my opponent out and kicking goals. So, able to do that a lot more over this pre-season, and certainly trying to do that coming into games. And then, it does give a bit more flexibility. I'd love to be able to get deep and take marks. That's where you, I guess, do the most damage. So rather than taking marks in the back half, so I'd love to be able to really push hard forward this year and kick a few goals. And having those guys there helps in that sense.
Don't underestimate the value of you going back and clunking one in defence, mate, because you've saved more than a few goals by sticking yourself in the hole down back. So that's just as valuable at times. Just on the goal kicking, does it actually annoy you when seagulls like Brodie Smith run around the back of you all the time looking for a cheapie, when you've got the situation well in hand with regards to having a kick for goal or kicking? Like, it's cheap stats. Surely it's stat padding, right?
Yeah, they do love it. Brodie Smith and full season and guys like that. But I'm very happy if it's 45 plus outs to give it to those guys, because they're pretty dead eye most of the time. So I'll keep backing them in if they keep running. But and they do spray me if I don't give it. So sometimes easy just to give it.
Just save the heartache during match committee or team meeting afterwards. And look, just quickly on Reilly Thilthorpe, obviously, I don't know, we're not privy to whether the club sees him more as a forward or as a forward ruck going forward, but has he sort of come under your wing in terms of his ruck craft?
We've done a little bit together, in terms of ruck stuff, and I'll certainly try and help him a lot and talk to him a lot about, because obviously forward and ruck craft's similar in terms of, contested marking and some of the other skills in there, and then some of his ruck stuff. But he's been honing his forward craft mainly. Long term, he'll be a big key forward. So and a little bit of time in the ruck. So he's been working really hard on that, and I'm super excited to see what he can do because he's got a lot of talent. Moves very, very well amazingly well for a big bloke. Great skills. If he puts it all together, he'd be very hard to stop.
Yeah, definitely. And of this year's crop, of course, we've got young Reilly, who's shown a bit, and Jake Sligo, and we haven't seen anything of Nankervis yet, or, God, the other lad's name, who I always forget, is Turner?
Zach Taylor.
Yeah. I always forget his name. I don't know why. He's a forgotten man. But that's another exciting crop coming through.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Joshua Reilly is super exciting. I've seen what he can do the last couple of weeks in the practice games. Kicked 3 goals each game, and he's been kicking goals all pre-season. His goal sense is pretty freaky. You can't really teach it what he's got in terms of his ability. Just to when he gets the ball within 30, it's going through the goals generally, and he's got great sense around there. So he'll be add some great potency to our forward line. And then the other guys you mentioned, Jakey Soligo, who's played really good footy as well. I knew he was right in the mix for round one as a hard-working, tough, skillful wingman. And then Zachy Taylor and Lukey Nankervis have been great as well. So they're ones to watch for the future. Yeah,
definitely. And just before we finish up, mate, and I really appreciate the time that you've given us this morning. I'm sure a lot of Crows fans have a bit of concern about Seed. I don't want you to give anything away, obviously, but how's he tracking? How's he travelling? Is he going all right?
Yeah, he's tracking okay. Yeah, he's on an upwards trend, so he's definitely getting better and better. But it's a bit of a slow process, and they're pretty conservative with anything related to the head.
Definitely.
So obviously, his long-term sort of health.
Yeah,
the priority, so they're certainly not rushing him, and he's progressing well though. So hopefully he's back to full health soon, and then footy's obviously I guess the second priority to that, but hopefully back into footy throughout the year, and hopefully earlier rather than later.
Yeah, well, we're all thinking about him, so let's hope he is able to recover from that fully. Mate, it's been fantastic talking to you on a public holiday Monday morning. Really appreciate the time that you've given us. We're all pretty excited as Crows fans about what's been on display over the last 12 to 18 months as we regroup and build a new list and a new culture. It's fantastic to see, and it looks very positive, and you're an integral part of that, mate. So congratulations and all the very best for the season ahead.
Thank you very much, Rob. Really appreciate having me on.
Good on you. Thanks, Reilly. So there you go. That was big Reilly O'Brien. Apologies for the false start there, but very generous with his time, 20-odd minutes, Peter. Another really good interview from the Crows, and as always, we thank the Crows staff for allowing us access like they do.
Yeah, look, we've been very, very fortunate, and that's sort of a lot of credit to you and the cast, and the credibility that we've now got with the football club is great, and so we do get those interviews now, and we get invited to those chats with the CEO and all that really good stuff, and so it's really good to see the club engaging with all of the podcasters. There's a few of us out there, and so it's good that they're doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we hope to have these interviews fortnightly during the season, which would be great. Now, just before we move on, Peter, I'm going to ask the people in chat to tell me, is there something going on with this ticket giveaway thing? Because no one actually wants the tickets, as far as I can see. Is that because the little thing that I set up isn't working, or is that because genuinely no one wants these tickets?
I saw someone write a message. Someone put a message on that they wanted it. I can't remember who it was now.
All right. So what I'll get you to do, basically, in case that thing's not working, as well as putting a little emoji on the card, just write a comment in the ticket giveaway channel, just to make sure that you're aware. So for those people that came late, we're giving away 2 general admission passes to the Fremantle match on Sunday. If you can go and you would like those tickets, go to the ticket giveaway channel on Discord. put an emoji next to the card and also stick your name there so that I know you've actually voted. And it was going to finish at 9:10. I'll let it run a little bit longer. So for those that have come in late, hop into Discord, get into the ticket giveaway thing, stick your emoji in, put a comment in there so that I know, and I'll give it away before the end of the cast. Right, now, Peter, a couple of things that came out of Reilly's interview that I thought were really interesting just before we move on. One was his take on the difference between Pike and Nix in terms of selection, and also, obviously, his commentary around culture. Was very much about what wasn't said rather than what was said, I reckon.
Yeah, I think that it's a fairly consistent message that's coming out of the players, and that what's being built down there and what's sort of driving them down there, and you only have to look at where you've got Joshua Shelley signing on, Saligo signing on for 2 extra years on top of their initial 2. I mean, that was a pretty big get. I don't reckon my read on Joshua Shelley is I don't think he's the shy, retiring type that would have any trouble thinking that he could have just waited. And I don't think he was, unless he was impressed with the setup. I don't think he's the kind of kid that would have been, thinking that he would have had any security problems in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I think
fairly confident.
He's bought into it, and I think he likes what he sees down there. And I think it's very, for a high quality kid like that, I think it's a really good sign. And Saligo the same.
Yeah, I think in general, and I think that's the most I've heard Reilly O'Brien speak ever. And he seemed to be getting interview fatigue by the end of it. But what I got out of it the most is just how much of a difference things are down at the club now, and that's it keeps getting reinforced with everyone we speak to. So we can only take our hats off to the hierarchy down there for changing things and turning things around in such a quick space of time. It's a very good achievement. All right, Peter. Now, don't forget, for those that are in chat, stick your comment in ticket giveaway if you want those tickets on the weekend. We've also got a channel set up for footy tipping and fantasy league, so have a look at the fantasy and tipping channel there for those details. Let's move on, Peter, to round 1, Fremantle, Sunday afternoon. A reasonably stern test first up, although Freo, probably like us, a bit of an unknown quantity. Just quickly looking at the injuries, obviously we got Seed, which is an obvious one. Leedy out for 3 to 5. Shane McAdam's been ruled out with sore adductors. He didn't play against Port, obviously, and he hasn't come up. The one that concerns me the most is Mitch Hinge. Got a knock on the shoulder, and is a test. Didn't train last week, but did train on Monday. So this is my big worry with Mitchie. As much as I love him coming off that half back line, I just hope that shoulder's all right. And you can imagine that it might get tested out a little bit this week.
Well, you wouldn't be surprised, and certainly the way that he throws himself in, you'd have to think that there was every chance that hasn't been. He had a reconstruction, didn't he?
Basically after round 1. Well, I don't think it was straight after round 1, but he only played the one game, I think.
So you just got to hope that's going to hold. I think in terms of injury news, just for the opposition, I think Taberner is a massive out for them.
Definitely, yeah, Taberner, and also with Lobb being doubtful, I think he had some abdominal or rib or something like that. So he's a bit doubtful as well. So that could really set the cat amongst the pigeons up forward for them.
He had a pretty good. I think he had an underrated season last year, Taberner. I think he just snuck up on the competition a bit.
Oh, definitely.
And, he's a very good footballer, and he hurt us in the corresponding round last year. Last year. And I'm not sure. I think that we'll match up a lot better without a big, bruising key forward like that for Joey Butt to deal with.
Yeah, I don't think defence is our biggest worry. Just to finish off our injuries, we've got Lockie Murphy on the road back after a neck injury. He's hopeful of putting his hand up. And the good news, of course, although I reckon it might be one more week, Geordie Dawson, by all reports, is ready to go. Pete, I wouldn't mind betting they leave him out for another week.
Well, I think it would be sensible, wouldn't it?
If there's any doubt whatsoever.
Yeah, don't risk him for round one.
Well, because calves can be buggers. He's had, what?
Yep.
I reckon it's 3 weeks. 3 weeks is kind of the minimum with calves. So what are they saying here? Going to put his calf to the test, main training on Wednesday. Burjo reckons we've taken a cautious approach with a view to getting him right for round one. He's progressed as well as we expected, but he will need to get through Wednesday's session. So I reckon he will need to get through Sunday morning's session, to be perfectly honest with you. I reckon they will leave it that late. They'll obviously name him in the squad. Whether he lines up, I think is still a 50-50 for Geordie.
Yep. No, I agree. I'd say 50-50 at best, because I think that they, he's just too important a player to be taking any kind of risk with. So,
yeah, that's right. Reports from out west saying that Nate Fyfe, I should say, is very keen to get back into a midfield role. So I expect him to come up against our midfield this week. It'll be a stern test, Pete. Obviously with Laird out, you'd expect Matt Crouch to play first up.
Yep.
I don't really see any other surprises in terms of selection. Generally, in the past, the way we've gone with selection is that whoever lines up in the last pre-season game is more or less guaranteed, well, first picked, barring injury in round one.
Yeah, I'd be 100% agree. There is very, very few surprises on the horizon for our selection, I believe, Ian. I think that what you saw against Port is close to what you're going to get, subject to Dawson's fitness and obviously Laird out. But that's going to be so. You're going to be seeing Sloane, Matt Crouch, Schomburg. Keys Keys played half forward. He'll probably step up into the midfield, I think, to replace Lairdy's rotation.
Yeah,
that would be my guess. And then, whether Saligo then rotates through that sort of half-forward wing kind of spot as well, possibly. But you're not going to get any surprises.
No, I don't think so. 1990 says Gallant misses out. Possibly. Not sure. He'd probably be the first one out, maybe. Jake Saligo would probably be the one to come out before Lockie Gallant, I think, out of last week's team.
And Gallant, he escaped my attention, actually, because he's another one that could well slot into that role that Keys had against Port Adelaide.
Yeah,
because Keys is going to have to take up Laird's midfield rotation, so that might open up a spot for Gallant as opposed to Saligo. Yeah.
So, I think it's going to be a stern test, obviously. Round one is always a bit dicey. Early season form, different programs, injuries from the pre-season, etc. But it's a home game, and we'd expect a good showing in terms of the crowd. What do you rate us, mate?
Oh, look, round one's always just such a fluky kind of proposition, isn't it? This time last year, we were all worried about, we're talking Geelong by how
many,
and we lost our trial against Port last year by a lot more than what we did this year. And so we're all just, thinking the worst. And of course, then we come out and we beat Geelong. So it's really, really hard to pick round one. It's the one time of the year you don't want to be backing it on Sportsbet, because you just don't know what teams are going to win and how far along they are in their training and all of those kinds of things. It's really, really difficult. So you've just got to hope that, you call it a 50, Adelaide and Freo is a 50-50 game, particularly in Adelaide. If it was over there, then you'd probably look differently, but certainly in Adelaide, it's a 50-50 game.
Yeah, I'd probably lean a little bit more towards us being a home game first up. I liked what I saw against Port Adelaide, particularly in the first half, when you think we had pretty much our full strength team on the park. I thought that our structure didn't look too bad, and we moved the ball with a little bit of system. So I didn't mind it. We're obviously quite fit, I think, which is a good thing because Fremantle will run us. But if a couple of blokes up forward can get their marking hands on, Elliot Himmelberg, Darcy Fogarty, Reilly Tilthorpe, can clunk a couple of marks, and if the ground ball is eaten up by the likes of Jake Rochelle, then I think we're sneaky. I would rate us a 55-45 chance at home this week.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've lost. Yeah, they would have lost Tabner. They've lost Sarah out of. He was an important player for them, and so there'll be a few outs for Freo as well, and possibly Lob, as you say. So they won't be. They'll have some cover as well. So it'll be interesting. They're now really building on the back of Caleb Sarong. So he'll be an interesting watch. So, but I think that if you look at our midfields, if we start off with Sloane, Matt Crouch, and Keys and Schomburg, there's a bit of experience there, and a little bit to like in terms of just winning some contested balls. So,
well, it's an interesting point you make about the midfield makeup because, of course, we got Sam Berry and Harry Schomburg and potentially Geordie Dawson in there. It'll be interesting to see with Laird going out whether they go back to the old guard or whether they let Harry and Sam take a little bit more ownership in that midfield this season. Stern test, up against the likes of Fife, etc. Personally, I would like to see them given first crack at it. I'd like to see Sloane run through as a second rotation. But history tells you that's not going to happen.
You try and tell Rory he's not playing midfield. And that's right. When we talk about cultural change, we're not quite there yet. I think each and every year, Fang, we sit here and say, is this going to be the year that he goes off to a wing or goes off to a permanent forward or something to try and make some room? But it's quite clear in that trial game against Port that even in a trial game there he was taking up a significant portion of the centre bounces.
I was disappointed with that. If ever there's an opportunity just to make a little transition. Even under the guise of, look, Rory, it's only a practice game, we want to give Harry and Sam a bit of a run, that was the time to do it. And to see him spend as much time in the midfield as we did, particularly attending centre bounces, I found that really disappointing and somewhat confusing, given the focus on youth at Adelaide. So whether they don't think that Sam and Harry are quite ready yet, I'm not quite sure, but I don't think you get young lads ready until you give them some responsibility. And having spoken to Harry last year and knowing what Sam Berry's like, I think those boys are ready for some responsibility. And I think they'd lap it up if they were given it. So very interesting to see how that progresses through the course of the game, whether it's just the same old Matt Crouch, Rory Sloane and a bit of Ben Keys and a couple of others rotating there.
Yeah, I'm not hopeful.
Well, hope springs eternal, mate. We've got to be optimistic. It's the round 1, 2022. So let's wait and see. Look, what's your final tip, mate?
Look, I'll tip us at home. Even though I've got a funny feeling we don't. Just something is bugging me in the back of my mind that we don't have a particularly great record against Freo at Adelaide Oval. But I'm going to tip us for to have a round 1 stellar game like we have. But I think that I don't know. It's not with much confidence, mainly because I think we've got some really important players either suspended or injured. And when you're rebuilding, as you know, it's really, really important you have all of your best and experienced players on the park to try and. What's the trendy school world now? Our school word is to scaffold. And that's what they talk about now.
To scaffold? What the hell does that mean?
It means, to support them. So you want to have your best players sort of scaffolding the younger players. And so, we don't really, I mean, you're talking about, Walker and Laird and, those kind of guys, and Dawson, if he doesn't play, then, they're pretty important seedsmen. They're, really, really important players that would push me to that 60-40. But so I'll say 51-49 for the Crows.
Yeah. Look, that's fair enough. We haven't actually beaten Fremantle since 2019, Pete. Round 7.
Yeah, I had a bad feeling that we don't like them at Adelaide Oval.
We've only played them twice since then, and the scorelines, last year's wasn't too bad, but in 2020 we lost 8-6 to 4-10, 54 to 34, and in 19 we won 7-9 to 5-4, 51 to 34, so high scoring affairs. Last year 12-12.
I remember that game against... Wasn't that game when Fife and Dangerfield went at it? That must have been. That must have been 2015.
2015, yeah. Yeah.
So I just don't. I feel like we're not great against Freo at Adelaide Oval.
No, I think both teams have changed a little bit over the last couple of years. We certainly, we're the youngest team in the comp, so that says a little bit. But I'm hopeful. I think the Crows at home by 3 goals. That's me.
Ooh. Yep, good.
All right, now just a reminder to everyone, we've only got 2 people in the ticket giveaway so far. We've got Vardy Magic and we've got Reilly O'Brien in the ticket giveaway. So you've got 5 minutes if you're in Discord and you want the tickets and you can get to the game on the weekend. Please put your name in. 2 general admission passes. Otherwise, I'm going to have to play rock, paper, scissors with you, Pete, to see whether Vardy or Lonely gets it. All right. Also, don't forget, obviously, we've had some great support on Patreon over the last 12 months. If you want to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/AFLCrowCast, and show your support there. And thanks to everyone who supported us over the years on Patreon, and you would have seen a lot more activity over the last month or so, and that'll continue. I did ask Jem whether she wanted to come on tonight, but she said she'd probably be asleep. And given how this podcast has gone tonight, that might not have been a bad thing. But she'll be on to introduce herself at some stage over the next week or so when she's a bit better, and she'll be taking over the community management duties forthwith. All right, look, I'm going to close this ticket giveaway because we've only got the 2 interested parties. Now, Peter, you can't see me, can you? So I'm going to do rock, paper, scissors into the camera, and then after I've done it, I'm going to ask you what you are, whether you're rock, paper, or scissors, okay?
Yep.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors. What did you choose?
Rock.
Yeah, so you win, so you get to choose between Vardy and Reilly O'Brien for the prize. Oh, Vardy's pulling out. Something I should have done a couple of times.
Okay, we'll give him to... So, Vardy was just trying to help out, doesn't need the tickets, so yes, we'll give it to the other.
Reilly O'Brien. If you are... Now, Lonely, you're actually in the audience here. Would you care to come on the stage and just have a chat and accept your prize? If so, put your hand up. Otherwise, I'll understand that you haven't got the means to do so, but it'd be good to hear from you if you can. Look, yeah, that one slipped out. Pete, I think that's probably all we've got apart from that. So if you like, I can let you go. But right. I'll also throw the stage over to anyone who wants to have a chat before we finish up as well. But if you'd like to go, Peter, then
I think I might. And congratulations on another terrific interview. And it was nice to for TNL to support that interview tonight and let the listeners have a listen to Reilly. I think that was fantastic, and we'll have quite a bit more to chat about next Tuesday when we've got a game in the can and we can just see where we're at.
Very good. All right, mate. We'll see you next Tuesday. Oh, that's not very nice either. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, mate.
All right. So we've got a couple of minutes left. Lonely, I will DM you after the cast on Discord, so look out for a message from me, and we'll get those tickets sorted. In the meantime, we've got a couple of minutes left if anyone wants to hop on and have something to say before we finish up. I'm actually quite bullish about the weekend and about the season in general. Injuries will take its toll really quick if we do get a couple, I think, because I think our depth's still not quite there. But if we can keep a few of these young lads on the park and actually get a few games into them, it'd be nice to see Lukey Pedler come in at some stage if he's not picked this week. Interesting that he wasn't on the injury list, so that means that despite his hamstring, he is available. So it'll be very interesting to see if he gets a run. No one wants to have a chat tonight. No one wants to keep me company in lockdown, so I'm going to call it. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Thanks everyone on YouTube for joining us as well. And we will be back for the Sunday wrap show this Sunday to wrap up the round and wrap up the Crows match versus Fremantle. New time this year for the wrap. Instead of 7:30, it's going to be 8:30 on a Sunday night this year. So we will see you on the wrap with hopefully Macca and Nikki on Sunday night at 8:30. Until then, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you later on.